Dade Pitso Rah Makhula.
Listen, God.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm awesome.
I have it come out.
Yes, sir.
I see.
Yeah. So, ne ke batla re qale pele ka hore ebe re tlo tell. Yeah, this is how it goes. So tswa kae?
Ke tswa hamman tilane.
Wa ja
Ka ja bohobe
wa futsela ka
ka metsi a pula.
tella he.
Ke theleleng. Ke le wa hamman tu a khayana phokeng. Jaga pele Pitso manti ke wa tlo re jella. Maoto a makalo ka dinale di akalo ka jwamba molele ngwane ba khomotsa mpiletsa. Ngwana mmope tshwana makara sakana le nyane le ikatise. Di hlola pula ke di hlola monono motho wa mogagedi ya maphole. Ga go le magedi thapong le ba gagetseng. Ha le molato a khomona le ka bolela. Nna ke mofukeng wa bahlatsi ba futa ho ba futang ba boela sejaneng. Sa mogadi wa motlalane malematsela malemathite ka moa isa le go ba se ke ba iphophoda. Mojatsa ba tsa mutla mantsano le tala motho e motle. Lona ba makagale leshano lo tshetheditse bele ba khomong khati ya masebothwana. Khomo ya tila motšhabana lo twana la tebetebe re ke tla ga makgoboletso tse diwele ka matswele le ka difuba ngwana bo mme khodu mma le poqo. Ke nna mofukeng molalatsi motho wa masimono wa mono ya reng ha bona khomo ya motho a re ithu e ke bele yaka wa tshwana kgolokwane pua mama khabane la ikgoloka la ipya khogong la re janjang ka pele lona fadisa kotowe wa mama go konyana thuta le tutumana le nyela tataneng wa matututu le pudungwana phahla ngwana mma mosetsane nna itse go mo etsa le bosu tsala motshiage banana ba ishebile bona ke tsime mmentu le bothepane ke ga wa mautumane wa mahlaka magasane ga sehlomeng wa mamodiei mothwa mahlaba pudikano kaneng mothwa mahlaba pudikano kaneng mothwa mahlaba pudikano kaneng lesedi mo
What that nagana audience saying at Islandi will be clapping their hands right here because that was impressive. Because commonly Islandi, people who have been coming to the podcast basically it's kind of like the tradition now where we kind of start with this. And I figured most commonly nowadays in our culture it's a both stanza se listen fela sa pele and then we even
struggle to
because we don't go on and on and on. I think I don't know, but one of the things a prof, we had him for the first time on the podcast, so he highlighted maybe commonly some of these two terms some of them bo kambo kwena bo mang da dinale popular saying I wanna just because dinale documentation hape body book and everything. And Lena, I happen to know stanza say no sapele and quite interesting. Lena happened to be also Mokhadi wa Motlalane, and I for quite some time Nintike search basically from my father's side I get Suboko Sakas sa Mokhadi wa Motlalane is from my dad's side. Now I kept asking them to hoping I can go on and on and on because I figured it's not only these praise poems hadi assistants as listen fair yeah basically and basically when I home for the delivery as well, like I like the delivery and the personality you put into it. You give it life. I say just like this.
Yeah, but fucking rejoalo. First of all, Pitso Rah Makhula. Ke mo fucking ka seboko. Ha isu ke thabatsukwana ha shale mama khashela. Ba holo ba ka ba hlamo ha ba tswa ka botjhabela. Mohlomong re kene re fihletse mohlomong for Tanemane re hlaya Heidelberg today, South Africa, formerly known as Debang. Yes. Re hlaya mono re tla re setse ke ba kwena morao to really keep on building. So motho ha itlhalosa first of all go tshwara letso ke ntle haholo eno e etsang ya hore banna le basadi ba hlankana le ba gwetsana bomme le bontate ha ba tlile podcasting ya hao ba itlhaise jwalo ba iketse represent or present themselves in that manner, because you identify first of all ho batho ba o shebileng ka ntle ka mano hona enwa ke ma o hlakae ebile ho baneng ana le this character traits or attributes, for lack of a better putting, ha bua ka po flair, high tonations, the charisma, ke motho wa mofuta o feng o hlakae. So people who have been able to delve in their history, our story, got the privilege of knowing fewer things. And by saying our story, I would mean the kind of content that you don't normally get from schools. It's not there within academia. You'll have to, after doing your things at school, and then come back and then learn about your real self, from Basotho, Nano Yataba, oral tradition, storytelling. Kana kungwe tlhole ya tseba hore dikelello kapo maboko a rona a matla haholo ho ka etsa memorize taba e bang ra e fuwa at any given point. That's why we are able to even memorize these totemic phrases the way we do. So I would love to highlight something there. Actually, has stanza tse telele hakalokalo ka go seboko se se le se seng. I'm a writer, I'm a poet, I'm a talk, so I research, or I've done that a long time ago. Kileka hanze ki sheba afumana hore re le Bafokeng re diboko tsa rona tse ngotsweng fatshe ka go dibuka tsena tsa academia, about 42, 43, something like that. But dingata ho feta moo. Yeah, hantse ke bala mono ha ke a fumana bo Bafokeng ba motswa khungwana batho Bafokeng ba bangata haholo be leng hore e ra ke ithoka le batho data collecting in the hills be ke re sebaka sena ke soka ke teng.
Yeah, right.
Wow. So it means the list goes on. And the more the merrier, because there's more information embedded in each totemic phrase. Yeah, in each color. Yeah, in each avenue, in each setting. We get to see ourselves in the mirror when looking at the other. So diboko tse ding kaofela ke la ke utlwile hore hape o buile ka hore bakwena mohlomong they might have been highlighted haholo hobane ke bona ba busang hana jwale. Yeah, but I would also urge people to read, people to buy library money, state library money, any form of identification, passport or ID, and then just find out for yourself. I'm able to really just give a precise people who are within this geographical location, the books, the book center, like within Pacifica Mani. I just pick up a book there. How to book as this size, if it and 20 rand. But there's just a lot of history. There's just a lot of folklore, aphorisms, idioms. The list goes on. Culture, norms, how we conveyed ourselves through the day, how we thought about things, and things that are still here today, that were there yesterday and days before. Pillars. tseo re ka reng ha re bua ka puo ya sejatlhapi they are a bit primitive and passive. Ha di fetowe, there are laws that are there. Ke go batho ba rata hore ha re bua Sesotho ha ngata ka re kere ka go ntho tsa our own culture. We are a bit backwards. And wow. Getting it in seeming like Khabatsitlali. E ka ha re batle ntho tse ding di tswela pele. E ka re batho ba batla go re betsere palamedi tonki letsatsi le la ke tla bona masego ke ya Bloemfontein or Cape Town with poor donkey or poor horse. Come on now. Oh man, I would want to be driving in that German car. You know, or fly in that jet or even spaceships, even for that matter. So we are civilized. There are things that don't change, like cause and effect, like principles that govern the universe. Yes. But they are still prevalent today. So get on to the buang ka tsona. E se go be ha re tsela la re getting it here like one board I mean a day today, hey?
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So ha re beleng ka thoko e. We move forward. Change is the only constant. Yeah. I was in 1980, 81, I was born. Yeah. Ha ke kala ho iphumana ke kala ho kwa bopina e bua le nna kutlwe ke wisha ka ke tla be ke le tjenana. Yeah. Like almost like 2 decades ago I prayed to the gods so much hore be ke tla be ke yeah. It's just that mono go tshwai ha butsula tla ka tsa tshweni. I would want to have something like a private jet parked outside.
Yes, sir.
As many cars as I could that would really just take me to every plateau. So, because now we are in the era of Aquarius, era of a thinking man, a doing man, a remembering man. A doing man. Yes. And information could really come in handy. Yeah, so mohlala motho itse maele fela ma ka fumana mbobuka di boko o tla fumana di boko mo nna hore be ke thatollo ha kana na ke sebetsa le nyano ya taba ke mamela Basotho ke mofokeng a ipatlang go ya ho fihlela ho thwe ke mofokeng se mofokeng wa because ha se le mofokeng wa it means se re le bangata ha holo mofokeng o sa ila tswala batho ba bangata haholo wa bona I trace myself to mofokeng ha ba ho thwe ke mofokeng or even beyond that. Yeah.
So what first of all, you in the interest in you basically to care about all this stuff, you know, that you're talking about, like basically your identity basically taking pride in that, because we kind of know for quite some time I think our identity it has been shifting, like you're saying. There are a lot of changes but now when those changes happen, yes, and then it somehow holder you are somehow smarter than the rest
of us.
Yeah. And then basically say like the standard of intelligence. The intelligence. How much can you speak it with what accent I want? So now, like the interest in you basically you somehow still tapping into deeply caring about culture or not basically trying to be like you know, basically seeking even though yes it's important adapt with changes, but I just want to know basically your earlier context what shaped that you can even, I get even now, but I just
Okay.
want to know about it.
What shaped these vocabulary as Sotho,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Okay. I grew up on hip hop music. Prior that, I've suffered a lot in school, like how to even make a woman. My friends were, I think they were privileged. They came from affluent societies, like affluent families. So they were introduced to English music, well, way before I did. My mother's a devout Christian. I grew up in gospel. And then as a youngling now, as juvenile, I would you know. But now I would suffer because now with the kind of academia that's imposed, I would love to use that word, imposed on us as Africans. It's highly English orientated, right? Yeah. Sekgowa se ikwalletse haholo. Sekgowa se ikwalletse ka hore thuto e nngwe le nngwe re ithutang yona sekolong, re ithuta yona ka Sekgowa ntle le Sesotho. You see, that's a sad situation. Yeah. Whereas this is how things should have been. Basotho, right? Everything, for lack of a better perception, came from the outside. Like even the education we learn from school, it's not from our government, it's not from our culture, right? It came from the outside. We are learning everything from people who were taught better prior, maybe our arrival, I don't know. Or maybe they chose to come to us when they were ready. Check this out. The Bible, the book called the Bible, which is supposed to govern all life spiritually, it came from the Jews, it came from the Europeans. And one would ask a question like, okay, God, oh, wow, you chose those ones to really just give us information about you. Oh, wow. We would have wanted a place in that as well as Africans. Secondly, academia. Academia entails now things that we learn in school, including our own history. As if we didn't have any elders to pass information, oral tradition and storytelling, onto generations, posterity, you know. I found that as a child growing up very biased from a thing called God. Yeah. The microphones, all the techno gizmos right now, we are in Project Kamako Studios.
Right.
And I would try to put the nature in and the arts, but I think the camera would not love this setting if there was no huge screen embellishing the set. I'm just saying. All these things came from afar. So the creator that gave us the wisdom and the ability to be able to hold capacity on anything, I didn't see anything evident of ours. And everything of ours depends on everything that's coming from outside. I find that a bit tedious to swallow as an African, and especially a student of knowledge, a spiritual child, and like the one that aspires to know. Outside of school, I did a little bit of soul searching. I found out that beyond the Bokota, beyond Mofokeng, I'm a fire element. I was born in the 14th of April, and the horoscopes, astrology would classify me as an Aries. Yeah, there's a thing called the horoscopes. There's eras, there's age, there's so much. So As an Iris, I constitute attributes of people who were born at that time, and it's like that with everybody who was born in that particular era that I was born in. You know, we share the same attributes. I didn't get that knowledge in school, and it's not taught in schools. School does not teach us about meditation. School does not teach about exercising. School does not teach us about how to make money, how to take care or become a humane human being. Yeah, how to be in synergistic harmony with nature. How to know every plant, or not even every plant, but at least half or quarter the plants that are out there. Mochompiri, Lipiolacho, Dandelion. The list goes on, not even to actually just talk about vegetables or fruits that we're similar to, you know, that we're familiar to. Talk about the medicine. Where does the medicine come from? The alchemy that God put in front of our eyes. We can't even tell. What is this? School didn't put that in order. So knowledge is infinite. There's gas, oxygen, carbon dioxide, sodium, basically alchemy, the periodic table. School taught us a bit of that in, is it physics? Well, chemistry. Yeah, it's chemistry, sorry.
Right.
Yeah. But when you try to put that in real life, I only see that in laboratories whereby pills and what do you call, like injections are formulated. But when we have to go into nature and just pick up a plant to heal your wound, remember all the things, or the best things in life are free. The best things for you in life are free. What would the God say to a man who didn't have the privilege of going to school, and someday the poor fellow would get sick and would not be privileged to go to even afford transport to go to Katapong or to even a private specialist? Whether it's menu or whatever ailment, the God would provide that for everybody. Yeah, but you see, if people don't know, then they shall pay for every loophole occurring in their everyday life. But the God has provided every solution for every problem that would occur. Yeah, for man to see. So what does man lack? Knowledge. How does man lack knowledge? That is presented before him and it's there. Something really happened in antiquity. Yes. What happened? Yeah, but this is the knowledge that we talk about every day. We die for what we think we know. Yeah. Back in the day, we say life begins in this geography, in this continent, Africa. And we are not saying that to boast. We are not saying that to take pride in, because now we realize life, now we receive everything from abroad. Not from this continent where life began in, right? So one man would ask me, so how did everything shift? You can even go back as learning everything as you can get from documentaries that I would suggest over this podcast, and the ones that knowledge or the wisdom or even the universe itself would just guide you to. We are told by our story that life began in Africa where maybe Africa in the east, maybe east in the south. Yeah, but we learned that in our books, like if you read books like God is Black, the Stolen Legacy, you read the Akan, you read Sumerian tablets, you read the book of Enki, the book of Cocoon. There's really just a lot of books that would really just evidently trace back to where life originated, right? Yeah. I am in Africa. I look like an African. I look like a very conscious African. I've preserved my hair follicles, and I keep these clothes that say, "Oh, he's a spiritual person. Look at his art." And I keep great things, and people who are looking at me are like, "Okay, he's going to be biased." Like if you're talking to a Rastaman, I look like a Rastaman, right?
Yeah, to some extent.
To some degree.
Yeah, to some degree.
And Rastaman would tell you a lot about Africa, right? Yeah. Why wouldn't I speak a lot about Africa while I'm in Africa and I'm at the zenith of Africa in the highest remote geographical location called Lesotho? For that matter, why wouldn't I want to inform the world about Africa? Anyway, we would take Life in the South and would want to summarize all this content, life in the Congos, life in the South here, Basotho, and South Africans today. But like in my early sayings, which is headed back today, Basotho ba tla go tswa tsatsi hona le sefaka se bitswang Mpumalanga, South Africa, next to Swaziland, with a lot of forestry, with a lot of trees around it. Mpumalanga translates Ntswana Tsatsi, Mpuma Ntswana Langa Tsatsi. Yes.
So yeah, it's so interesting because one of the people I think who comment in the comments, the last guest in Elaine that they basically he talked about Ntswana Tsatsi. Kapo hana o itse ke guy hero bag. I don't remember quite well.
That would be like hana ihuka Ntswana. Yeah, in Mpumalanga, like I'm saying.
Yeah, but
it's in a lot of places. Tafelkop, hero bag hasi.
Yeah, kapo itse Tafelkop. Yeah, ke such a valo. Yeah.
Yeah, tabing into an Tafelkop.
Yeah.
Yeah, kop kitab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he kind of highlighted that, and but Motemong all I highlight something like, I think Lesotho, many of them are confused or actually where is Ntswana Tsatsi, because the idea that comes to head, it's mysterious. It's like just a random place. It's not just a it's supposed to be you gotta feel I'm from far, you know.
Yeah, mabitso kambo like Mpumalanga in South Africa, yatsama Ntswana Tsatsi re tla ya lebo in the east rebo dimomane, but as we go back, like if you check out, like first of all pele bakatse kambo Mpumalanga, it's really a lot of our stories. Leading a katingata out of Mpumalanga, there's a lot of hidden portals. Yeah, Dinyakosoba, like places you would pass people just there. Banzaba bona wana sababoni. But I love your inquisition about Ntswana Tsatsi. Thank you so much. Basotho bare motho bitwile lehlakeng. Sha. And Ntswana Tsatsi is associated with reeds. Lehlakeng. Ke mokgo e leng hore ngwana ha hlaile in mabotsela o tla bona hore ho hlongwa lehlaka ke tinya mo ngwana a batlang a hlaetse teng. Yeah, as a representation hore bophelo identify with reeds. Yes. Let's go back. I get as we have said, don't take everything that I say into heart, hey? Yeah, don't believe, as a matter of fact, anything that I say. But when you have time, do make time, as a matter of fact, to research for your own sake. Yes. Have you ever heard of Shambhala?
I haven't.
Have you ever heard of Shangri-La?
No.
Have you ever heard of Agatha?
None of those. Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard of the South Pole and the North Pole.
Yeah, right.
The North Pole and the South Pole is the entrances. Yeah. How a child like myself would get preview of such information? There's something called the Hollow Earth theory. Everything, because now it's recorded, I want you to dig in it, when you have time. So, after the Second World War, some German pilot was flying, and then he realized that animals were moving towards the cold and icy area. Animals don't do that. So that kind of sparked the inquisition in him. He decided to follow the animals, fly over them to see what can this mean. Animals go to warm places all the time. And why would animals be here now while the winter is just lying in front of them? Animals should be long gone. They are attuned with nature. They know. Yeah. When it's winter, we are the only ones frozen in the ice bag. Animals are not there. The only animals that are with us is domestic animals, or those or ones that we have decided to tame or keep them in the zoos for whatever particular reasons they are. But free or wild animals are in warmer places. Even now we are paying witness to the winters in these geography. So the poor German pilot after the Second World War flew over the animals, and the animals directed the poor guy to the North Pole. He realized that now light was turning a bit dimmer because now it was reaching sunset on Earth. And then he says in his journal, he saw himself now flying through something like a tunnel, going through, and he realized that light changed. He and his people in the plane went through the tunnel, and they came now within a new vicinity. He realized that it was sort of like daylight, midday. Different setting. These three trees were gigantic. Animals were gigantic. Yes. He says in his journal, the plane lost electricity, like it stopped making sound, like it was still on air, but all the electricity in the plane went off. And all of a sudden he had something through these earphones. They talk, they listen through. Hey, Mr. Rah Makhula, we actually decided to let you through. This now, remember, it was after the Second World War. Yeah. The people there, the beings there, they told him that we don't use this free energy that y'all use out there. Don't worry, we'll bring you down here, and then escorts will come to your plane, and then they will escort you to our headquarters. And so it was done. When he explains it, he says there were taller people were a bit like alpinoid a bit, you know. Yeah. And they had big heads, cylinder. They took him to he and his crew to their headquarters, and they told him. So when he explains these kind of people, they are different people. He says the sun day does not rise and it does not set. It's always there. So when I talk about Shambhala, when I talk about Agatha, when I talk about the world day, I'm not gonna go I'm just going to give you links for you to tap into, for you to actually listen to or find out for yourself. There's a documentary called The Hidden History of Humanity. Look into it as well. It talks about eras. It tells us that this we find from our own books as ancient Africans as well. Like an era constitutes of something like 24,000 years or 26,000 years. For example, we are in the era of Aquarius now. Like I said before, we are from the era of Pisces, fish. Yeah, now we are in the era of the water bearer, information and all that. That's why we know all this esotericism, things that we didn't know prior. Like, Mushala, an inspiration to my logo. Yeah, it's from our ancestors. It was designed by Lagaba. Horus eye, a falcon, things that are embedded in my character, an elephant's ear, the Rah Makhula, which says Ra as well. Ra ka Sotho ka puo ya rona ke ntate, but Ra in this era a carrier or a representation of light or the sun. Yeah. The grandmother, in fact the grandfather of our gods is called Ra. Yeah. I'm named after that particular yes. When Isis, when Horus or Osiris went to write back to a different dimension to their grandfather, they talk to beings like Ra or beings like Ptah. If you do your history, we get that in Egypt. Do a lot of a study in I don't want to say in Egyptology because Egyptology was brought to us by the West, and it was of a different intention and an agenda. Yeah, learn about our history as Africans geographically, you know. You'll unravel a lot. So, it means we actually came from Professor Matula Mateja. Yes. We came through Punt. Yeah. Men came from the whole. Yes. And from the whole, it would mean yeah. There's a lot of life there. I'm saying these because I want to create a lot of inquisition. There are files out there people will discover from themselves. Yeah.
Can you break that down? Like, or what like from what?
Punt. Puntu.
Okay. Okay.
Punt. Like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, even like you say, you're laughing right now because you think I talk about the vagina. Yeah, something that resembles that, but of the earth. Yeah, the body of the earth resembles the body of a human. The earth has the chakras, has the root chakra, sacral chakra, solar plexus, heart chakra, throat chakra, the third eye, ground chakra as well.
What are these chakras? Like, what is chakra?
Give me Methodia table, Methodia information. Chakras are your way of downloading information, going inside. Yeah. Your inside is the universe. That's why now we talk about meditation. Yeah. For people who meditate, they don't need to be lied to by the books or anybody who claims to know anything. They go internally, and the more they practice a meditation, they do a thing called astral projection through their solar plexus. That takes them into any information they aspire to know at any time. Back to Akasha. The Akasha is the compendium of all knowledge, of all snippets, of all angles. What happened, when, what, who did that. Yeah. If people want to, like I would say, Sangomas tap into Akasha to know anything about anybody they had to talk to or heal at that time, or seers or palm readers, or anybody that taps into your information now going backward. Yes. So, because now information does not die. Yeah. Nothing dies, or anything that happens is there somewhere. And anybody that wants to find out anything about anything goes back into it. You tap into that, and then you go back into it. So Mehlodi, this is give me Mehlodi Yamatla. When your chakras are activated, as a matter of fact, opened and activated, you're now getting back into your God status. Yeah. Motho ha fitla lefatsheng ke dimo. Motho ha hopola lebaka le mo tlisitseng kwano ke modimo hape. Motho ha sa hopole lebaka le mo tlisitseng kwano, or even make attempts to hobane ntsa hola kana meng le ka moyeng le ka sedimong. But now misinformed e ba le dimo. Motho mohlanga shwang Basotho ba ka mora le motse kae e tla ba badimo. So you see, we have that demo element walking through or helping us reflect throughout all facets of life. Yes. Always to reflect. Information and you're able to tap into yourself and find out and verify.
So I can access that through myself.
Through yourself, through meditation, through activating and opening your chakras. Everybody have chakras.
Now, like, okay, so, like, are they access to meditation, or like randomly, even if I'm sitting down like this, I can access them?
There's a lot of tutorship that you will go through. But even YouTube claims to you know. But how is ke ga bona ka ke ntho mohlolo. Yeah. Ge nke ho tswa gona batho ba gona ha ne ba tap into meditation bona ne ba etsa. Just exercising. Yeah. Ho ke boimamelo ka puo ya gona. Ya boimamelo. Ho ba boinotsing. Ho ba boipobong lo wena, you know. Yeah, just taking a jog in the morning or a walk in the morning. That is the beginning of meditation. Yeah. Gardening, for instance. Yeah. Indulging in conversations with the soil. Yeah. And then plants. That is meditation. I say that because if you keep quiet during that process, a lot of thoughts will reflect in you. Yeah. I've written a lot of songs as a songwriter from just doing gardening, just jogging, from just being with myself. But, you know, people would even take it further into like, you know, sitting in a lotus position and, you know, give another.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's Kampala. Yeah. A lotus position is something like these. Yeah. And then trying to keep quiet, be quiet, and almost annihilate every thought in you. How to stop thinking. Yeah, meditation begins from that. And since Africans was denied a lot of its authenticity. We were even confused in the way we think. You should check out a book called The Science of Breath. Yeah. It teaches us how to properly breathe. Because misinterpreting breath, how we breathe, radically changes our perception on nature, on reality. Yeah. We don't view nature as maybe Bazara or Bara or people who are attuned to nature do. Yeah. People in the hills, people who meditate, people who walk, people who drink pure water, people who eat well.
I think I kind of heard this before. Yeah. The breathing. When it comes to breathing. When we are kids, like I don't know where I heard this, but it's like basically the deeper breaths. Now Harahola that kind of dies down, and then fella just to survive, couple.
Why is that?
Yeah,
is it natural though?
I don't know, because I don't know how now. Was I conscious? Like, did I make that decision? I'm not sure.
Okay.
I should change the
way I breathe.
Yeah, but I've heard breathing basically simply even heals a lot of sicknesses.
Sure.
Because basically you can like a lot of sicknesses can be healed by just
taking a deep breath.
Yeah.
Like, take a deep breath when you're going through some panic, when you are not yourself, when you have lost your confidence, when you've done basically everything that kind of like perturbs you. You know, you are advised to take a deep breath. Yes. Breath is imperative in the navigation of humanity into its civilization. Yes. Into its growth. Yeah. Into its assessment of everything. Analysis of its everything outside or within. Yes. Breath. So, I was talking about how to annihilate thoughts. Yeah. So that maybe etheric energy. There are 5 elements. Earth, air, fire, water, and the ether. Yeah. Yeah. They say I'm 5 elements. You should find out what are you, earth, and the ether. The ether is like the mind of it all. Like it gives etheric energy to all of them in a way, like connects them, like the place where God is, for lack of a better putting. But God is everywhere. God is everything. God is the totality of everything. Yeah, God is not just our Father in heaven, as the big book has put it. Like I said before. Talking about the chakras in our body help us download information from everywhere, even to where God is. You talked about kids breathing in a certain way and adults now breathing in a different way. Children are still attuned to all dimensions. That's why they, at that time, know everything. Yeah, they know why they are here. They are not confused yet. They are grounded. Yeah, they love walking barefoot. Have you realized? Yeah. People who walk barefoot, you become walking barefoot. It helps you connect with nature, the earth, the soil, from where that body came from. Right?
And then why is that important too?
It is important for you to stay attuned with the mother. We have that's the Walan, the Kausi, the pavement, the scontier, and everything that prevents us from remembering where we come from. To etsa ho bohlokwa ka hore the root chakra, it amplifies the root chakra first of all. Yeah. And the root chakra says, or gives you the ability to be grounded in whatever decisions you make, not to be swayed or assuaged by anything that comes. Yeah, but whatever ideas that y'all downloaded from God, you were given, or you downloaded those from it for a reason, and for you to second guess them now, or to even doubt them because now something that seems superficial is presented before you, does not make you quite a reliable or a grounded person, right? Yeah. You were talking about a king earlier on, or a leader, somebody who's supposed to wake up in the morning. Those are some of the things that help you to be grounded, because now you are leading a people. Even not leading a people, you are in control of your own life, your own purpose and life. You are supposed to be grounded in just that idea itself. Yeah. For instance, I've come to the room to heal the room. I've come to the space to heal the space. Now, when I've decided to be a musician, and now music is no more viewed as a healing mechanism, and it's now an entertaining factor. And what does that say to me? It means I would have to now adjust, improvise to that. No, it means I have to be grounded into knowing that I've come here to heal, and in a tool that I picked from the library that I will heal with, I have to use it to heal, irrespective or regardless of what the world presents before me. Yeah, that helps me. My root chakra helps me to become grounded with that. Yeah. If I said I was going to heal people using this mechanism, if I said I was going to write books, if I said I was going to care for the earth, be aware of things like climate change, global warming, and how to best prevent such or make people aware of such, I would still today stand firm in doing so. Yeah. Even when I saw the world digress a bit or go the other way, or they go to North Pole and I go to South Pole, and everybody was laughing at my moves at that particular time. But for some reason, I was aware that they might have missed the mark. Yeah. So outside of academia, we now learn. We now become students of life. Life teaches. Somehow something told us not to listen to life anymore. After we came out of school, it was good. We are now Barute. Shame on you, Barute. Out there. Barute Bakula. They are not able to heal themselves. Yeah. They still go to church, which is, so don't get me wrong, listen to a pastor, a priest teach them something that they still don't know today after it was taught for 1,000 years. They keep a book that's supposed to spiritually aid them, empower them, strengthen them. But look at the status quo today in the planet. We are messed up or damaged people. So the question would be, is education on its own helping us do something or achieve something? Yes, yeah. Those who are rich today of just education would say, yeah, because now they have a car or cars or even a private jet or whatever. But education does not help one to find who one is. It helps people to survive. Yeah, survival is you really getting everything that you want out of life, buying an expensive car, building yourself an expensive studio, buying cars and everything. But now finding yourself, it's not to depend on these things, these techno-gizmos. And what happens now if we buy cameras of today, and now it's 10 years from now, we would want to upgrade. Upgrade from who? people who sell those techno gizmos to us, right? Why wouldn't we now integrate our knowledge to be able to upgrade ourselves from this geography? Guess what? Even music depends on that. In the last 20 years, in the last 2 decades, we listened to this kind of music. The people people who came from abroad who influenced our music setting didn't yet or have not yet thought about the drill, the drap. It was just pure boom bap hip hop with R&B, country, rave, rock, classics, and etc. But you find out that that's not the kind of music that we listen to today. Remember, music subliminally affects your everyday decision making, whether you're aware or not. Yeah, movies that you watch today, yes, and etc. Food that we eat today. People who ate 30 years ago from this geography depended on food that came from their own geography. Today we depend on food that we buy from your malls, food that has to cross to the Caledon. You don't know how much has been preserved, how much it's stayed in stores for that particular food to come through.
I know there's a saying that is like, you are what you eat.
You are what you eat. And that would automatically deprive us from looking within our geography. I think that I said in the beginning, why would the God be so biased? It appeared that the God had favoritism. It favored the people that were from different geographies apart from this one, or more than this one's. Like, if we can't produce our own food, man, we can't know who our ancestors worshipped, our own knowledge, how we interpret the star systems, the constellations, how we pray, how we do things that heal us, how we navigate ourselves through our breathing patterns, how we build our own security from our own intellectual capacities. We can't be able to do that from looking at outside.
But I would want to basically let's talk about this one. Like this one, yeah, God favoring certain people.
It's not that God is favoring certain people. It's a thing that would appear. I mean, it would appear like that to a layman. I'm speaking for a layman. Yeah. I'm asking you as my interviewer. How is it that everything that we depend on solely today crossed the Caledon to come to this point, to come to this space? How can we...
I believe that, I believe that we can. I believe that...
What went wrong?
Well, I would say... maybe it's lack of self-awareness, not knowing yourself, and not taking pride in that. Because the moment I think, you will provide me with something, then at that moment I deprive myself from doing something. If I'm expecting something from you, I can't really generate or I can't really create something for myself.
Sure.
But if I know I'm not expecting anything from anybody, that's when I start to shape my own thing, create my own thing.
What happened? Alexander the Greek came through. It was in the Great Invasion. Remember, research anything I say. You historically know him as Alexander the Great. Africans refer to him as Alexander the Greek. He invaded Africa. At the time when they invaded Africa, we didn't have any form of military mechanism, some form of defense mechanism, because the Africa I'm talking about here, it's when knowledge served its purpose. We were different, but we were the same. Uniqueness should be the one thing we have in common. Re tshwane ka ho fapana. Ho no sena motho a ruileng haholo ebe mong o futsana ile haholo. Because when you have that kind of setting within a geography, that breeds about taba tse ngata haholo ya tla go bala sa tsebona o lo jang eno ona le tse ngata haholo tsa tlo di jabe di bole hona le tlo ba le shodu mono, right? Ha ba ona le ngwana ona le mosadi and he has to provide o tla tlamela lo then hana mosebetsi and le knowledge ya hae ba tla le misinformed to ga ka iketsetsa o tla lo utswetsa. So ke ra hore kana go nna re sena le baka la tronko. There were no prisons. We knew we were able to take care of the 3 basic needs, or the basic needs, all of them. Even if we had kings and people who were a bit affluent and the rest of us, there were no poor people. Sure. There were no people without knowledge, without divine knowledge, to help them know or access, network between themselves, their ancestors, the gods, and a thing or an energy we call God. There was no confusion of religion, separatism. You have people who believe, we have Protestants today, we have Anglicans today, we have Bapoloso, the list goes on. And it appears like all these people believe in different gods. But they're going to church on Sundays. They're doing all sort of like they're the same somewhere, but they're different in their way of approaching this particular thing. And this segregates the people. You didn't have different knowledge like you would have high-grade knowledge and low-grade knowledge. Private schools and government schools. Can you measure the stretch betwixt the two? Those ones are privileged of beautiful accents, beautiful knowledge, authentic knowledge. Not even authentic because I have not really found anything as authentic in academia. But better than this one, right? Yeah. So why is it that we would not be privy of such? There was no society that lacked such, in Africa. Knowledge is the same everywhere. Truth, facts are the same everywhere. Everything that applies to a different people on a different geographical location can be applied to us here, but according to our climatic condition. On 20 ka nako tse itseng o re sebedisa ka nako itseng and this is re rutu ho tswa pele ho etsa ntse se ka ntse ha di fetolwe but ha ba di tlameha hore di fetolwe re tlo tla re ba batho bano ba tla ba bua jole kae ka kareng ka re God was biased. I was really just sparking there. There's no biased God cannot be biased. Right. The God cannot be insulted. When you hear people talk about blasphemy, and then blasphemy is something that you say against God and blah blah blah, God will punish you. No, you cannot insult a God. No, the God does not take offense as people would do. Right. Yeah. Like Pitso, we say, Pitso Abraham, no. There's no thing like that. Right. You channel your own energy. You purify your own energy to be able to attract good things. You think about good things to attract good things. You eat well to be able to energize well. You align yourself with proper information that is applicable to you and your setting so that everything works for you. If you talk about one famous radio persona, on Sunday, it means ore ba Israel. It's within our geographical location. How about the south? By letting yeah. All this symbolism. You have your Inyambe, you have knowledge ya mabotsela itse a re closer from these geographies re isitse Egepeta for lefatshe to have learned ntho tse ngata tseo lefatshe le ithutileng tsona it came through the gate tsa Egepeta and ho ithutile hona teng the rest of the people, the rest of the world was able to learn a thing called astronomy in Egypt. It was called Kemet at that time. Kemet, chemistry, alchemy. That's the etymology of a thing. We'll talk about it. Kemet. But maths or mathematics, Pythagoras, he went to school in Egypt. Oh, for years there. We talk about philosophy. Socrates, Plato, they learned in Egypt and it took them years. Our elders decided for years. At that time they were called barbarians. A thing called German measles, chicken pox. It came with the people that came from the outside. Your so-called white people were not they learned civilization from Africa till they would now plunder it, pillage it, and ransack it. Yeah. See, moving forward to Alexander the Greek, they came to school, learned about, ooh, this is heaven. Wow. The people here, their geography, their setting, their philosophy, their knowledge is so infinite. Wow. They're so, there's a plethora of colors, knowledge, numbers, everything we learn from here, and it makes sense. They went back home because now you get the grasp of something, you understand it, or you understand it, and then you are not yet satisfied. A thing called jealousy would kick in. You teach about the people at home. Oh, there's more of these. Shakespeare says, he who has drunk the waters of Africa keeps on coming back for more. You see, that more, it means it's something that you didn't get prior, but you knew when you get the one that you were first in contact with, or whoosh, I'm in an ocean of a myriad form of things. Yeah. So when the Europeans got here, they found out that. They went back home and then they developed strategies with a little bit of what they knew at the time to come and take from us. They knew that we didn't have prisons here. We didn't have militaries here. Yeah, because there was no purpose. There was no reason to do so. We had it under control. A thief, what would you steal? You had what I had. Yeah. You had all what I had. Yeah. So there was nothing that would breed something. There was nothing that would breed an ignition in you for you to want to take something that you would not have because you had basically what I had. So when these people came through, they took, as a matter of fact, Tuti, I told you, you read a book called The Golden Stool by Edwin Smith. Yes. It will teach you about the mind of white people before setting their food here. They said to colonize an African, you need to annihilate his spirituality, his culture, his norms, his etiquette, his music, his reality, his philosophy, his astronomy, his language, his etc. How they do that? During Alexander the Greek, they killed. It was the Great Invasion. The Great Invasion means war. They fought us. They killed us. They massacred us. In the books of history, this what I'm talking about is called or classified as the night the earth cried. Look it up as well. Yeah, ancient poets wrote about it. It's there in our books, in our exclusive books. Read exclusive books. Read about ancient Africa. They came annihilated. They stole from our libraries. They burned them. They took everything, plundered, pillaged, ransacked, and then they burned. They killed the philosopher. They killed the scientist. They killed the astronomer. They killed all the specialists that were giving us everything at that particular time. What was left of? Just people. Decades went on, and we were confused. They were developing these ideologies where in Europe. And then later, they would come through and then now claim to teach us. Greta Muto tell us that they came in with different food now. That's why today we eat GMO food, genetically modified. They came with different form of healing etiquette. Like this was now the first time we started taking injections. Yeah. And injections were forced on the people. Yeah. So wise ancient sages at that particular time, because now they had to adhere to this policy of injection. They hid their children. They took their children into the forest and they burned them here. Yeah. How would these people all of a sudden know within our geographies like that, polio is coming to your geography? If you don't inject those children, they're going to die. And why do they care? Anyway, they would come in and then they would check us. Did the child get the injection? And for those that did, they would see evidently in their left arm that, the child was injected here. Wise people, no one can go, Zaponi, but it's his. It's on train, you can use soul in a bed, the car chili. Ebe. How about batala masola abona manzibuwa to check on babona endefitile. But now an injection how fitla ka go wena it destroys you. As a matter of fact, it shrinks your pineal gland. It blurs you. You now start seeing or interpreting reality differently, radically, than how normally it is. Kredamuto says now he realized that all the injected children could not see the things that he did. Yeah. He started, Mashallah, I asked you before, are you aware that we've had close encounters with the third kind? Are you aware that the planet Earth has had visitations?
No, I'm not aware of that. So, okay, I would want to ask this question. Does that still apply at the injection? Because, I want to know about that. Like, we are still being injected even now. I think every kid, especially or something, it's like we are still even getting injected to this day. And then the time, the coronavirus, we were like being injected.
Yes, sir.
Is that still the case?
They first of all killed the midwife. This information is going to get me in trouble. They killed the midwife. Midwives are wise women who help bring life into the planet. Yeah. No chemicals are involved here. Yeah, they go research a word called midwife. You see, it's just a lot.
Yeah, I kind of know about that.
Yeah. Midwives were annihilated on purpose. Yes, before hospitals came through. Yes, midwives would naturally bring children into the planet without the mother or the child suffering any repercussions that our present parents and children do in the hospitals. Yes. How, first of all, the baby's how mother's supposed to squat, now in the hospital she lies in a different way. There's just a lot of things that the hospital does in a different way than how midwives would do, and these have a very huge impact on a child coming through You see. So they would make sure, because I told you to colonize Africa, we would have to annihilate its wisdom. To its psyche. Yeah. So, because now a hospital, it's a hospital because inevitably people get sick, right? Kapo basadi ba tloka ho tswala kapo hona batho sentse ba tshwere ke mefetse ke eng kae be lo gana tsela ha ka tlwalo ena hona mola sentse ba le teng dipetleleng a ke ba tletse kana, right? Dipetlele tsohle. The question is, what's making these people sick? Why are the hospitals very very busy? Why are they very lucrative, making the most profits? It's because of what we eat, the GMO that I talk about. That kind of food has side effects on our immune systems. How work on a website kapo harena bohlale bon bo tshwana le batho ba iketsetsa ntho tse kana tse ka ntsena dijo tseo re di jang, first of all di a affect hore na re nahana jwang kapo le di idea tse ka bana le tsona. How re kula jwang ibile re tsofala ka pele jwang. Yes. So we have spring water, we have tap water. Tap water highly chemicalized, you know. There's lead, there's aluminium. Like I said the last time, la pompo ebe bona ho tswa lebese. Unwanto. Yeah. So you look at motho how to le mo di 40 jula ka mpona tjenana e bo sentse mpona ke apartswe ke tabile ka tan gray yo la we motho a khale wa khutla ba batla ya no this is a bit quick o taba ha le bo ma o qala o taba ha le bo ma 70 o ya kwana this could be the food we eat, our everyday philosophy. Se go dumela khale kwana ke ba re ha ke na go ka ba la hore re sheba mabotsela ele so misinformed. Re tla ga batho ne ba tlameha ho lema ne ba tlameha ho dula when we move back to ancient Kemet, yo we are civilization yo kholo e sa tsebe nna re tla nkgalla ne. Yeah, we had got thing. You're going back to mona le medingwana teng. E seng twena una na go batho ba dutse ka di officing ka mane atla metae ile popa yana ke bo modimo ntwe. No man, kana when we were inventors of great things, we were able to observe the stars, the star system. We knew of constellations. We were attuned with everything. We had the minds almost same with the computer. We could tap on the Wi-Fi on the Wi-Fi of nature and be online naturally. To be able to navigate our minds to download the kind of information that you see today. All this is from ancient Africa. The people who we now receive it from, I swear to God, they took it from us, blurred us, and fed us wrong, informed us wrong, for us to have been able to see different, even within ourselves. What they did politically, they introduced ideas to us, because now what was left of people who didn't have power to reason, they've killed the actual philosopher who was still teaching us, the actual scientists who were still teaching us, the real people. And now the sheep that was still getting knowledge at that time, now confused, they came in with their knowledge and they taught us about the idea of one God in heaven, who I would ask everybody, have you prayed and prayers were answered? And people would say, yeah, yes. And then I ask you, has every prayer been answered?
Yeah, right.
No, I disagree. Not your every prayer has been answered.
Okay, you mean, okay, I thought you saying, have my prayers been answered when I pray? Yes, they have.
They have been.
Yeah,
but not your every prayer.
Yeah, not every single prayer, of course, yeah.
Because we would not be here. You would have the information that you seek in your podcast. You would not be doing this podcast for people. You'd be satisfied somewhere with your women, somewhere not wanting anything from the outside. Ha re bua ka mokwa o sekele. Modimo ha utlwe motho eo. Ha re bua ka batho ba rona ba ka dithabeng who appear to be a bit unprivileged from things that we are privileged with here, from the food. When I was doing data collection as an enumerator, I was asking people, they're using a questionnaire. Wa tseba ha kala o tloa maserumo the kaofela batho ba banana go modimo rata batho ba maseru ba feta. Hobane mona re jama ba pheke re ja eng re tsang re bua sekgwana ha jwale ka ha kana na hore modimo rata batho ba Gauteng kapa ba states o re feta, right? Evidently how ka hla some Will Smith or some itlang kwana itla bo chiring tsa rona mona tsa rona di ka tla tsa ba confused for baking yana ba Will Smith anda mo meka re ngona ka chega for a minute there kana Will I just right for a minute there ibo ku bana ka itsa ba ku bani it's been presented to us hore batho ba hlahang ka ntle ho geography ena ba di mo be feta music go etsa re se mpaka ke this conversation se ka bua ka music wa music go etsa batho ba bona na Pitso e o tla mebe ha o Lesotho mona ka music go tla mebe mo Cape Town kwana tla mebe buka ka a Lesotho mona ha bana tsebe ya music go tse ho bane ho ibe go bane una ga blesswa ka bohlale bo bohlale ba rona. Have you realized that motho mo le mo ga kotsi ka ntho le mo tlameya go gatloe mo bona mo lo go tsi o tlo Lesotho mo
yeah
ga proud o be go tsa mo Lesotho mo ntho lwa ita mebe ke ka mo no tlameya wingland man feto go gola ka diponto o na le bo o lo ka bohlale bo ke na le bona ke tlameya ke develop this god forsaken land ki se leveleng tseo tsa naha tseo tse le bona ke tlameya ke tloe ke lo sebediswa ke naha tseo to develop those countries.
I think sometimes it's from this thing like the when you think about like the resources, especially like for now you're an artist, getting to be booked inside of the country at the moment, it's something it's like yeah you know, and lava okay bunyane mo boleng la no bole Cape Town no bole kai, it's like yeah, I mean the grass is greener on the other side, and of course it looks greener because to be honest how is share the shelter batla patala Cape Town compared to here. It's kind of better.
What is that? Damane kholo in the south itla le tra. Sentine hlapa ka metsi ya ka tsede. Le Melrose le Kilani. Diaja gona ka hlapa ka wasa. Why is that? Ha no tla nana go bele ka hore mona he go tshwere ntse tse batlang di itse cheka. E tla be re ja betrinyana. Why don't we have burbs here? Suburbs. Why? Metsi ya gona hlatswa di suburbs tse ding tšhelete ya gona embelisha kapa e seng tšhelete. As a matter of fact, why tšhelete ya gona e printwa missing? Why kobo ya gona e printwa missing? Why ntse re ka re we hold so much pride on e le ntse tse leng go di tla missing gona ha rena tsona re le batho ba batho. So ntone ka bo yona fela I'm aware of all that information e ke etsang go botsa gona gona go le go atla jwang hore ebe ha o ntse o sheba mafatshe kaofela gona ga leka nyong tse jwalo. Anyway, I'm all aware hore e tla ga ke tloa mo. Yes, e tla ga ke tloa mona na ke tlameya hore ke say Cape Town, Jozi to improve my music, and that's why I'm going. You see, I'm all aware that people here can hear me differently from people in Cape Town, people in Jozi, maybe can, or appreciate the kind of art. le potso e ntse le gona ko baneng and why re se bohlale ba gona ba gore ka gona go preserve ntho tsa gona re be le industry industry ya mmino industry ya ntho tsohle tsa say the movie podcasts documentaries and etc. Why do I have to record an album here? 5 years ago or 10 years ago when I released Nzwanazazi, I had to go gain an approval in South Africa. Mixing and mastering there, it's on point. Secondly, the registration of the song, we register our music, we still do that even today. Samro, Cyril, and Nom. Sambra, register music to be critically acclaimed or seen by the world. Why can't we have that or even have depots or representations within our geography? Ke mo ke batlang ke bua ka biasness eno e o bona o reng mohlomong go hobane ke taba thuto ge tlamea re latemane jolo ke mo ke reng I'm aware of all that, but if let's jwang hore e be jwalo hore be ho ka etsa ntho twe naha, but now it lacks so much and it has to depend so much for its survival. However, for its survival it will depend on you should best believe the influencer however di se mohlala dia endorse di support ka ntho tse itseng di shebile di resources tseo tsona da hatseng di sena tsona tsengata ho letseng ke nka di bolela tse modana ibile through those endorsements hona le terms and conditions tse tlang le tsone ha re sa khona ho re tse dintho le ka re le Basotho nna kana ha ntho na hlwana mona re etsa jena se re tla mamela hona tšhelete o itse ha mona ha tsena hloka how is that going to teach our children and why so that everything makes sense. Why is it that as a people within this geography, English played quite a huge role? Going back to people like Chinese, a bit affluent today. Hobane ha re sheba structure sa bona sa academia ga bona hele batho ba ithuta maths ka China mohlala everything ke se go fela se ba ithutang se go ka se go hona hore there's no barrier to communication hona ntse bitsang barrier to communication it is one language motho ha fitla o tema monana ka sekgowa mohlala ge ke ba bua khosela sentse re se bua ka dithabeng if we really wanted to give what one information and need means batho ba ntse ba bua go tlotsa bua ntse ba reng so gona ka hlaetse mo go bana nne re tlangwa hore be reng ka dintho ka sekgowa movie me fela nda o tlhokometse go sekgowa ka ga o tlhokometse like if you go into any discipline e re ithuta yona sekolong say biology for instance biology na le terminology ya yona fela if you studied biology tlo bona biology na le mantswe a mang fela motho tla ga sebedisa mona ke ntse la se go but ke ya biology ntse la se go but ke ya chemistry ntse la se go but ke ya physics ntse la se go but ke ya nyeo ke ba itong gona ne re sena those terminologies because in a tla ga le jwalo we would easily and properly access information along that particular discipline.
And I believe we would have even formed words that suits.
Better. Yeah. Do you realize voting so-called educated, they are still wild goose chasing even today. As a matter of fact, they are ki di rata Lesotho le ho feta ki di rata Basotho ki di rata puo ya Sesotho ki di rata moya wa Sesotho but ba ruteile ba ruteile. So potso ke gona go ruteha ha re go ruteha re eng go ruteha ko bua go ruteha ko tina hantle and keep all this and then come to your people buy a car, build a house. Ebe go ruteha ha so go tseba go solve mathata a sebaka le tikolo e leng ho yona. Ho ka tseba ho fitisesa tsebo o e tsebang ho batho ba bona ba le less privy of it. Ka tsela tsohle tse bang di ka etsahala. Ebe go ruteha ha se ho ema ka pele jwale o kgona o thuse ho go batho ba eno ba ntshetse di idea tsa sebo modimo tsa bona pele without hobane how to ruteile, it means o ruteile ka tsela e leng gore magwa ruteile ka yona after all ke bona ba rutile. So why o ntse o tlameha go fetela magweng o se o le teng mo o tswa varsity ha se wena ke media ya tsebo ya discipline eo Lesotho mo ke ntse ke botsa ke rena why ha e ka go utlwisitse le ho feta ka bo beterenyana o tlameha go ya magweng o lo thusa to develop batho bala le ho feta. Why batho ba ruteileng within this geography ba tlameha go ba tsamaye ebe ha re ba bone Lesotho monana re tseba gore nyo bohlale blind nyo le bohlale blind. It's almost natural ha re bua ka batho ba bohlale re tseba gore ha ka sekolong re mona le bohlale ha tlameha ebe o Lesotho mo ha sa le moholo. Why is that? Elo bohlale bo o tlameha a tsamaya a kwa ka bona ha bo tlo sebeletsa mo ona hlaela mo ho bana ka sa hla state. See, we don't read the signs. Knowledge ena re fumana sekolong fela e re ruta hore ho baneng ke sa hlaela state hobane the artists or musicians that state ndong lengwe teng mona le bona ho bona ho baneng ke se mo ke a tseba hore at least ha ke hlaetse se ne ke tla tseba hore ha ke register le ho le at least ne ke tla ba 1,000 or a million ho baneng ke sa hlaela state ke le cherry ho baneng tla ga ke ba le ngwana ke le South Africa sentse ke tseba ke tlo phaka tšhelete tse mo tse tsa go rebele bana ba bangata ho feta ho baneng why should keep potso tseo tse ngata ha ke hlaetse mo ke bona bo leme bo ke buang ka bona bo eleng hore ha ke re modimo ha o ha ke re modimo ha o bona ka o tshwana ke re something has been done le fatse mona ka bophelo le ho rona re le batho as Africans within this continent hore re bone ebile re interpret the information the way we do today. O kila bona go batho ba o lwantsha o ba lwanela ba o bolaya ba o they put you, they burn you on the stake o ba lwanela ore o botsa batho ba re bolang ka dijo ba re bolang ka meriana ba re bolang ka metsi ba re bolang ka ntho ngwe le ngwe gahle bana botleng batho ba tla ba botsa go hira wena Pitso sa ba tlo ke tlo ba ke re spring water ke re eng ke re why is it that agriculture hage batho ba go ruteileng ka ho fetisisa ha ba rate botemo ba nkela banye ba ratla ka phoofo mme dijo tse ba di jang ba tseba gona di hlaka di entswe ke bomang kae tsona se ke buileng ka tsona fela ntwaka. Why doesn't school teach us about the art of making money, the art of surviving in this era, the art of loving, the art of staying in communionship with animals, with trees, with everything that constitutes to our well-being as a people? Why don't we learn that from academia and school? Why do we have to learn it outside of school confines and in school? Some of them are still applicable even today, but a larger portion of that I can need key foundation knitting. What can school cast to the chase? Why is there better schools and poor schools in my country for my people? Who should eat better and who should eat worse? Why is there better food and lesser food? Why is there expensive and poor? Who ordains that? Here, if there's God and there's justice on earth, why does my government have to depend on the governments, other governments from other geographical locations? Why don't we know the power that's embedded within us, within our language, within just our DNA as a people? Why is it taking us forever? Why go to profeta habo ko waneng o tlameha o bokwa kwa matla solve mathata teng mona ha gana mo dumella ga solve mathata ge ke ba tla ga solve mathata ke mfanane ntse go goma le yena mo. Why is that? I don't know, sir. I'm sorry, but I'm also glad that it's information that our people really need to hear and keep abreast with. If they are saying they are really informed people, what is the meaning of education, really?
Yeah. But I'm glad you speaking on some of these things. They on a normal day, people don't talk about them, and they feel like it's too much. It's basically one of those things that even burdens some to think about, let alone talk about them, And then, maybe to answer some of your questions, perhaps why are all these things happening? I think if I truly think about it now, why would we want horebe? Ke shortcut basic. I think ke shortcut horebe. If I'm a musician here, trying to make a living, I'm like, okay, Lesotho le ke seng ke tseng tshena. I'm always going to hustle. I'm trying to change my country, so shortcut. Let me just go there and then get it over with, and then I think perhaps the shortcut is sometimes it's not only that it might be pride in knowing who you are. I think knowing who you are is one thing, and then the other that follows that is taking pride in that what you know about yourself. Okay. Let's say you are amongst other nations, couple tribes, you can say. How we chabela class somehow, or you are Mosotho in that circle. Like you can even hide sometimes because you're like other nations seem to be better, but because Basotho, get pride in that. I think one thing is knowing who you are and then taking pride in that. Then I think that pride might keep you here and be like, I'm building right here where I am. I'm not trying to, if the problems that this country perhaps I can somehow, people might disagree, people might feel some type of way about it, but it's better I build there and then I come back later. But sometimes some problems cannot be solved only on the outside. You need to be here. But it's that thing along patience is one thing, and the other is taking pride in this. If go be here and then build up as you go. So I think that's how I think might be.
So hana lo ena sa lentse go hola hona le ke bo mambo ke leng wa bona ba tswile ya ba khutlela Lesotho to develop it for the better. Do we have people, do we have a series of people, do we have a tendency, a culture of people doing that, because the way I would want to do it, like you say, mohlala ha ku ke batla ho ntshetsa mmino wa ka Lesotho mona ho ha hobane first of all ntse ke ile ka di bua le hore ho sa no se ka ke tswa e tlo ba so what wa bona basically ke a gola ka nthong le nngwe every discipline motho mo le mong a tla ba a sebetsana le yona o tla nna tshwara ebe ge tlo hloka hore re tsebang ke ka putsweng go botsa ke batho ba fempo ke leng wa bona by practicing to now, let me just go outside and familiarize myself with whatever and then come back develop hope ke sure ha re diqholo tsa batho sentse ba yetsa mohlomong ka nna ba sentse ba yetsa bo ka dithabeng kae ka methwaelanyana ka utlwela gona batho ba ratang go etsa ba ke ntwe sebetsang eo and ntwe re rutwang sekolong go re motho o be le tšhelete, right? Yeah, ha ke bona batho ba etsa ntweno because ha ba sena tšhelete eo ngata eo ha batle ha mona ba tla ba etsa ntweno ka ba ka ba etsa ba tla ba etsa ho etsa tšhelete ka yona setting eno ba etseng ha mona. But anyway, ana ntse re dutse ha mona ntse re nahana ho re tla etsa jwalo ga di motho mofutso ha o ntse o itswella mo but it's okay. Nke se ke ga me fool nke se ke re nka tswa ka itswella man ka fihla ka itshaba ka hey, you've been such a fool ke hopola batho ba very very close people ba ga tsebe go rata Lesotho haholo and you really want to with but wa bona go tlameha go tlwemo for you to this is that situation. First of all in isika hore nna and my music ne ka hore well this brand le mmino wa Lesotho ka mmino o emelang Lesotho ha mafatshe ntse a hlaisa pina wa bona
something bigger than you.
Exactly, it's something it's like that into hangata do promise even the podcast ya how o re tla re e kholo ho wena you know yeah e kholo wena ntwe tla mebe kholo wena hore e khona hore etse sense exactly takatso ya ka ntle le hore ben ka ba super ka menwana ko re realize ka pare hopola ntweng ya hore the sole purpose of going to school or knowledge is such that we gather that knowledge hore e tlo go thusa rona ka bo rona within our own setting to be able to solve problems tse re boneng ba kholo ba rona ba story solver within our own setting. But if there should be some sort of aiding e hlang kantle, let's go out and get it and come back. To build this beehive. I don't celebrate everyone, every wise person, every clever person. It's like a more not like a little storm to blind. If I say a lot of my mona Lesotho, on a different kitchen time of Bukitani. Logo Pelamon, Shapaka Selene Lamon. Hasha Lesotho and Monaca Colitican, Kadi in the can, Calibuli the can. But I go on a motuno pillar, capo una shile Lesotho. Have a nature never told able to say more massive than thing, and it's a say to moon comes a moon. Yeah. Have our side to moon, me over sadly. Una clat or moon. How now we are last preview of this kind of information, Mona and Kamabagan, Sikabulate. What time after Jawa information experience, and then Wahuka. Utla Monan, Utla Sabeta, Mohole Babang from different disciplines to build, to help Hori Puman alone. If I go Kofi, you know, we have 2 varsities, Lesotho or 3. And then they train a call fellow, but never wrote about Robala Desert Tenat, Capobabu, Plumbo, Manobonobo. And our sole purpose of coming into the plan, that we come here to get rich. Get out of school of money, if Managoliti, Namasariaga. How shall I can tell what's how I pick out on it? Let's let him. And then people would fight me. But one Baba Slani. However, no matter felt like a Shalabana and they had to go out. In it like a Mabina Kwana, Baja, Huta, Batolukisa, Lesotho. Yes, a more Taiwano, Wupilawaka Fellas are almost missing one on my name. One I know missing one away. Now, so what? So what on Kaka and so some totally mono, but something about break a moon, so you're still going through the same things that you'll be going. What's it by below not ever? How to have more or two hiking or hiking, you can bona halaka boy, illega to keep abreast, then I had to. That's the sole purpose, yeah. Information and knowledge, Lesotho monana. Lewo hlale, lintongo lengwe na hanangore. It's so wow. Ya hai monana. Hai ba ya leka, hai e khutle. Hai ba ya qhuma. so ma khotmana re mo hatile bokae ka bokae Kavela I get to be boss wena ke ja go service ke ja go please go ntse tsela pele fela o etla batse kwa motheng le la wena tsena boy e setse mawatle e ntse ntse ka di femeng ka mona ya tsamaya ya fua eng fela ya gutla la hape. And what does that say about yourself? How should be the motho wa bohlale le sekolong mo nka wa bohlale ho ntse tsa di tsa go ga eno ke nka mlei e ba ke o gona rena sebaka sa go tlamea go bohlale. So that's my sole purpose for well wena tsa tsela to develop this land. Ha hana o tsebe ke a hlalosetsa ke re o tsebe ha ba ntse tla bana tsa tsile le Lesotho ba hlaela ntweno go botsa go ba tlamea ba hlae ya go ba tla ba thusana ha e fihle maimong e lengwa otherwise re a tswa re nka di dilemo ga gwana le basadi ba gona le batho re ba ratang le baka tse tlamebe ntse re di developer re le siko re tleng mafela gore ke phele Lesotho ke mesing kwa for what really then how le jalo bohlale ba hao le knowledge ya hao does not serve any purpose. Does not serve any purpose. Ha ku na o hlaetseng Lesotho ha wa hlaela mboke ha wa bohlale bona le bona ha ba mona khija re kwalla sepellange ha ba kwalla sepellange mo e fumana mbiteriana wa ja wa come back ntsolukisa e mo ntsa le ka lukisa ka mai ntsa le ka lukisa man we kopanyo bona. But then our governance, our source of education, our spirituality, it will take that. Develop Africa. It's people who know themselves. Some Burkina Faso president is saying, hey, eating. Africa ikala jwalo ho lata nthongwe lengwe sale ke complainer ka yona ha ba je sale ke complainer mona ikala jwalo e latwa jwalo. Robert Mugabe we yenze ntweno the same thing and then ba fitla ba thola his $1 ba bella man ba etsa tsona ntwetseng. Gaddafi, he was proposing the same thing. Let's have as Africans tsela ya rona our own currency as Africans. What's wrong with that? Why who go with $1? O tswa ga hatelile ha hola up to a kapela tsa sheba dintho ba me ke se gobo ho bophelo gana hana re tletse o tlo jana mona na re tse bana ga ha matlama holo re khanne dikoloi re fetwe diboko. Purpose is to change the setting, the profile of things homo o fihlelang teng whether it's within le lapeng leno o fumana di-cousin kapo mono ka lapela bomme wa hao le ka lapela bontate wa hao di sa o relane mollo for a very long time badimo ba re ba gomela wena go go tlo kapo in your geography motseng wa eno in your setting nna batho ba go teile ke bua le batho ba jwalo e se batho ba go teile ga tsu missing ga mo hlompela tsona tsena Burkina Faso kwala o tla mona ka bo di Christmas le paseka fela ke motho wa Lesotho a go teile motho ya jwalo o itja direte o itja direte go na o gola $1 tse ka $1 tse dingata tse di save la di million le bana ba hao save la di ntho tse go bontsha gore na ha ile hantle le ga mmisa kae create ntho tsa e le ga ke tloa montse ke tlamea ke South Africa le register mmino hona le batho ba makhotmane a la phela gale a bona a ba le nyoko le dinyoko ntse re tlamea go etsa ntho e tshwanang le bana ba gona ba tla ba etsa balo then tsebo ha ena molemo khotmane la ka re ntse re bua se goa fela mahala ntse re ganna dikoloi tse teng ya fela mahala ga shwa go tshwara ke di AC ke mefetse ke ntse tsena ka ofela re rekisa di soul tsa rona ha ona le letho le ka reng re ngolla hae ka lona so potsa ko rena ne re batla mo why re hlaetse mo potsa bohloko ka ga ba bohloko ba information bohloko en ka e hlalosa sa mono ko motho before we are born while we are still back with the source we choose the geography. We choose the couple, my mother and my father. Now, these are people who will understand me. These are people who will help me with the best resources to enhance me, to be able to sustain that which I would survive with, or that which I said I was going to do. So,
on that note, I would want to understand if if we choose, then it's a new thing to me. If we choose the parents,
sure.
that we
come through,
that we come through.
Then,
yeah, right.
Let's not forget that we chose them. Yes, ask your question.
So now, if I chose to be there, to come through them, then like ibilo o hlalosa further or I even choose the country then why motho a tla fumana hore a tsamaya nah, I don't want this country later on, and then
thank you. That's a very important question.
Yeah, because I'll feel like if I chose, then it means I'm counted in my thing. And another thing, I think it's similar to that question, but it's like, personally, as in, I would think,
back to DIFA,
I would want to be born mafutse. I don't have to be struggling to get everything that I need. I wanna, like, the things that I love. If I love art, like, somehow art is so much appreciated, and then I can even express myself in so many ways easily without having to, like, and then later you wanna have then it's like,
that's very important.
Yeah.
First of all, while we are still back with the source, we pick up a purpose, and then we look at life on a white spreadsheet, like it's all white, and then we realize that there are tiny black dots on this white canvas. Our purpose is aligned with those black dots that we see. He's like, there's not supposed to be black dots there. Let's go see what's happening. Yeah, let me go deal with that dot, so that when I come back, it's back to its clean slate again. That's the sole purpose. May I add, while we are still back with the source, we are not within the physique. And everything that you just highlighted right now pertains to the physique. You know? Yeah. Nice clothes, nice appreciation. It's for the physique. Yeah. Yeah. We are only spirituals at that time. It's before we dive into our mama's womb. You see. And we are consciousness at that time, you see. And that's who we are. Yeah, not the physique. The physique is earth. This is the soil. So when it gets tired, we have to bury it on the soil. On back to where it came from. The ones that you do not see, they go to where they came from as well. You know? Yeah, as I've said, man is a triune being. Spirit, soul, and the anatomy. Man constitutes of those three. Man is not just what you see. Yeah. So it means the part that helps you dream at night, the part that helps you get creative, the part that helps you love, feel sentiments, risen. It's not this thing. It means there are other yous inside. And those yous, they don't die. Those are the yous that I'm talking about right now before this you. Yeah. Those ones, they come to solve problems, only to heal, to make better. Yeah. So, you choose parents. Even as you choose parents, poor as they are, you want to develop them because you still view them from a God status. Yeah. You have all power. The same way you still do now, just not realizing, just not attuned with that power. Yee. You know that you can change everything. You know. Now, these beings that you choose, your father and your mother, they have sex one night. And then your father ejaculates in the womb. Like, the moment that the eggs develop, you choose that physique. You give life to those seeds. This it's now developing in my mother's womb. Something there is developing. The moment my father impregnates my mother, you have made that choice. You choose to put all this consciousness in this body. Yeah. Subliminally. I wish we would all remember how we do it. How we land in the womb.
Right.
In the womb.
Do we ever na hona mohla re tla hopola hore na how did that happen?
Yeah, in meditation, in researching and asking the right people the right questions and asking them to help you remember. Meditation is one of them.
So we can remember?
Yes. Yes. You can go back to remembering back as God. So, you see, so the intentions before you come into flesh appear to be different as the intentions now when you have come out of the womb. Spirit comes in, Father ejaculates in the womb, you give life to the seed in the womb. This comes out of the womb. This is this. Now, this what you see constitutes of three. This, the anatomy, spirit and soul. Sedimo, lemoya, lenam. Yes, until it's a mode.
So, okay, now, so isn't that God's work, like, isn't that God giving life to that human? Because you are saying, I'm giving it life as that.
Yeah, when you come from God, you're still part of the source. Yeah, I have to keep on reminding you, we are from God, right? We are God. When we come into this dimension, we just fall short of the godliness. Like we are in the third dimension, the lowest dimension, the dimension that exposes the humane side of us in a very aggressive way, for lack of a better word. Like you have to struggle for things. You have to, things are not appearing like when we talk about aliens now, when I talk about Arcturians, Pleiadians, grey aliens, star seeds, indigo children. I talk about people who are attributed with a larger vast of wisdom. To look at you, to be able to lift this by just looking at it, to telepath, to who people who are telekinetic, who are able to do things they don't lack. But now dimensions, when you study dimensions, from down there from the 12th one or the 9th one, coming back now, we are on the third one, Earth, planet Earth. It's third dimension, right? This is one of the lowest dimensions, like one of the lowest. And by so saying, I mean the frequency or the vibration we are bestowed with here, it's lesser than the one we experience on 4th, 5th, and etc.
But can you explain what you mean by vibration?
Vibration, the level of when I say vibration, the awareness. Vibration is the state of awareness that one taps into when they've cleared their energy fields, when their pineal glands are able to see. It's not shrunk. when they allow themselves not to be contaminated by, say, mucus or other external contaminations. Yeah. This is why we say children. Children know everything because they have not yet seen and been with a lot of things that would change or tint their purity. Yeah. While they're still children, they don't need to be told anything. They are still attached to everything that is knowledge, that is God. Yeah. But when you grow, how is the stage in sana say long bale kelello? Ho to am tunu sana le kelello. How kelello mo to bale na le mo ke 5. Ha ke say 5 6. How kala o bona ngwana fela o sana le kelello. Ko ha sa innocent fela o phele yo ha hlama no o bona o sana le kelello sa tseba botle le bobi.
Yeah, right.
Ha sa le attached to the divinities as he or she was. Hanza le mo yantse le what hata le monyane a hole o tseba dintho tse ngata o utlwa dintho tse ngata o bua le dintho tse ngata haholo ibile lo ha so ka ba le kelello ya o bua ge la basala hel a tswa ge 27 ka go munga magala le kgone o bona nda re tsentse ke bua le batho ba monana ha tsenana
yes, la Rah Makhula. So basically just wrapping it up, like oka agela malangwana o katela fela. Yeah.
Okay.
Oka reng fela.
Actually, first of all, people should find out I'm a musician. I should go into Spotify. Obatle Pitso Rah Makhula. There's have a kamako there, and soon there will be Mata over there. In all your music streaming digital platforms. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Threads, I'm on WhatsApp as well, 56202523. People should know who they are. People should know about their spirit element, their anatomy, their soul, their purpose. Remember their purpose. People should want to leave the earth having done something. People should know something to equip the other with or to be able to solve immediate problems with. I think we get graduated to or who we were once were, the gods which we are as a people. People should love themselves. People should put away judgments and segregations that were brought by other beings that are not quite applicable within our philosophy. People should reignite a thing called love, an energy called love, and practice unconditional love. People should meditate, spend 30 minutes by themselves, and people should remain unique. Uniqueness, it's beautiful to say uniqueness is the one thing we have in common. I remember when you're able to teach something to people and they're able to teach you something back. We don't become one stereotypic people on one track-minded people who learn everything. That's where jealousy comes from, redundancy comes from, mediocrity comes from, because we are all trying to be the same and doing the same thing. We have this one different fingerprint that defines who we individually are. We have to capitalize on such. If this is so unique from the next man, and so is everything else that comes by me as an individual, and it's there to empower me and the next man and the next man and the next man, and our uniquenesses are there to synergize and unify. From that unity, strength, power, and everything collectively comes from, and we're able to see why we are here and what we came to do in this plateau called planet Earth. Let's say Basotho le bitso la ka ke Pitso Rah Makhula ke mo fokeng ka seboko. Get ready for a project coming through called Mata when it does.
Kamako say, and thank you for showing for inviting us this time, because actually we shot last time.
Yes,
and then because of the audio wasn't clear,
Let's hope this time we're good.
Yeah, this time I hope we're good. Yeah, I'm sure the team delivered on this one. So,
Alright.
yeah.
I really just wanted to balance the ABCs and the IAEOUs. A bit of Schoa, a bit of Sesotho, Bautusise, Katsela, or Bakaza Sense Kayona, because Ngarata Habat Bakatabim, Bakashabella, our podcast, Skaba Redisa Houten, Ferabokai, Kitlaranda, now, but I'll develop an high, look up for a chair. Let's say,
Let's say. Yeah.